Let's take another question. Johnny Cole asks, can you tell us a little bit about your floor? It sounds like you're walking across a wooden floor, but you have some really heavy equipment in your shop, metal lathe and mill and the pool table. This building I am in was a firehouse when the building was first built in the early part of the 20th century. And as a firehouse, it has these garages, and the floor slants all the way to about right there. So I'm standing above what I think is about 18 inches of empty space. When I moved into this space, we built this floor. By we, I mean some wonderful carpenters I hired built a perfectly flat floor out of 1.25 inch tongue and groove flooring plywood on supports that can take the weight of a 2,500 pound mill and a 3,000 pound lathe. We did the math before we built the floor to make sure that those could be supported. I will tell you, the floor complained when we brought them in, but they made it in just fine. I'd rather have a concrete floor than a wooden floor. I'll be honest with you. But one of the advantages of a wooden floor is I had a power line coming out to this workbench, and it was always a pain in the ass to roll things over that power line. I had one of those little electrical cord covers that you can roll over, and nothing ever quite rolls over. And I had double stick tape on the back of it, but in this shop, that's just not going to last. So finally, a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't even cover this because, well, I'll tell you why in a second. I actually drilled a hole in the floor and I ran an extension cord from a floor plug over there. I know that's, I did it right, but the reason I didn't cover it as one day build is no one needs to watch me do electrician work because I'm not an electrician. However, I included an extension cord that basically runs under the floor, so now I can roll stuff around here. That is one of the advantages to a wooden floor. Compared to the mill and the lathe, the pool table doesn't weigh anything. Kenneth Quillentang, Kenneth Quillentang Jr., thank you very much, wants to know, aloha from Hawaii. Aloha. What has been your favorite cosplay costume you have worn to Comic-Con? I was going to say, there is no favorite. It's always the one I just wore. I wore my Captain America stealth suit to C2E2 in Chicago in February, and that one still holds a very special place in my heart. We just put up the video of me doing a mod on its shield a few days ago. I'm still super particular to Chewbacca. I've worn Chewie on the floor, I think at least 5 times. 4 times? Maybe 5 times. And it's always really great to put on Chewie because it's not too hot a costume. I also love putting on my spacesuit. I'll take any excuse to put on my spacesuit. For the experience, it's hard to beat No Face. It's hard to beat that first No Face experience I had, which is a long, involved story. If you don't know it, I did a TED Talk called My Love Letter to Cosplay, which tells the story of my first No Face costume. I'm never going to tell that story better than I did on the TED stage. Go take a look at that. But yeah, and then there's like whatever costume I'm kind of thinking about at the minute. For me, again, it's not just about the object, whether it's a costume or a prop. It's about the experience. And the experience is an ongoing thing, and it's ever changing. And, you know, sometimes my experience of a costume will change when someone comes up to me 6 months later and said, that inspired me to do this, and I did this, and I learned this thing. Like, didn't expect that. I wonder which island you are on in Hawaii, and I wonder how Hawaii is doing. I have many friends who live over there, and I hope you guys are all doing great. Let's see. Christopher Emrich asks, as a teacher, I have showed your videos many times when discussing how scientists and engineers and makers think about and approach a problem. What is something you would tell up-and-coming STEAM students? You have to build it more than once. You have to build it more. You have to prepare. You have to expect that you are going to build it more than once. If you are going to build something, you're going to build it more than once. It's literally, you cannot try and expect to build it the first time correctly. That is a big one. Like prepping yourself, expecting the mistakes. Expect the mistakes because you're going to make them. If you try and avoid them, you will fail, and you will further feel like a failure because you attempted to avoid them and failed to avoid them. Let me tell you, you are never going to avoid them. There's a great line in Body Heat. That's the movie. Mickey Rourke has an appearance in Body Heat. Is Body Heat his first movie? I mean, I want to say Rumblefish, but I feel like Body Heat is maybe his first movie. It's hard for me to remember when all those movies came out back then. But anyway, in Body Heat, William Hurt is talking to Mickey Rourke, and Mickey Rourke says to him, William Hurt is planning a crime. And Mickey Rourke says, in any crime you're going to commit, there's at least 50 ways you can screw things up. And if you can think of 25 of those ways, you're a genius, and you ain't no genius. That is a great axiom for a maker, for an up-and-coming STEAM student. I appreciate that you're teaching them to approach and think about a problem. I mean, I spend so much time doing this. I've got a huge build coming up in the next 2 weeks, a really, really big, involved build, and I have to get it right. I've set up something in the future with this build, and I can't not show up, right? So the next 2 weeks are going to take a lot of my engineering expertise, and they're going to require a lot of iteration, and I got to be ready to keep on iterating. And up until now, what I've been doing is I've just been thinking about this project. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking, making sketches, making lists. But I'm clear at this point in my life as a maker that thinking is just the most important part. I'm solving so many different problems, and it's not like I'm coming up with the exact right solution, but I'm eliminating ways that were problematic. I'm thinking, oh, what if I did it this way? So I'll spend a few days saying, oh, maybe I could do it that way. And then I'll realize, oh, I'm overcomplicating it. I'm thinking too far. I can be simpler. And then I look at other people's ideas about how they solve that problem. And I'm like, oh, I could be even simpler than that. Oh, look at that. That's really right. Obsessively pondering a project before you embark. And part of that obsession is the list making, is the sketching, and don't have to be good at either of those things to reap their benefits. Seriously, you don't have to be very good at sketching at all to use it to help understand things. And for me, it's being able to understand them in a physical way. Like I take the project and I put it in my head. That's what you've got to realize you've got to do. If you're making a thing and it involves 5 pieces, every one of those pieces has a shape, a topography, and you have to have all that in your head. So for me, the thinking process is how I sort of layer those things into my head to get ready to solve a problem. Yeah. Good luck with your STEAM students. Teaching them to be problem solvers that's awesome. That makes me very happy. The last question. Look at that. It's already been over 75 minutes. Amazing. James L. asks, hi from Wellington, New Zealand. Hello. Hello, Wellington. Hello, my friends in Wellington. I miss you guys so much. I was there earlier this year, which I feel very lucky for, and hopefully I will be there before too long. Hope springs eternal. We will see what happens. But hello, Wellington. Your question, what is your favorite tip, skill, or tool that you've seen at WETA workshop and taken back and applied to your own workshop? What a great question. I have to say what I've picked up from WETA recently that has really altered my life are Proxon tools. I believe I can actually, I love them so much, I barely have to leave the frame. The Dremel and the finger sander. So I know I keep saying Dremel. It's like a generic term. So this is the Proxon Micromot 60/E. This is a rotary tool that goes very low It doesn't go as fast as a Dremel. I don't need it to. I have almost never, ever used a Dremel at the high end of its speed range. I like how light this is. I really dig its low impact cord. And this has been a fabulous addition. And I learned about it on my most recent trip to WETA when Richard and I were making something together. And this is called a finger sander. I have four different versions of finger sanders. I watched Adam do a super unsafe thing on the computer today. This is a great finger sander. One, it's got an adjustable angle on the finger here. I have actually chucked this into my vise and used it as a little baby belt sander. It's got an adjustable speed and a switch. So you can also run it very slow. And that is a very gentle amount. One of the difficulties with tools sometimes is that they're actually too good at what they do and they take off too much material. And tools like this that have a very adjustable low range of speed are super useful for me because I like to creep up on stuff. As I am fond of saying, if you're not sure how something is going to go, or if you're not an expert in a technique, go slowly. That going slowly can substitute for skill where skill doesn't exist. Like you could build an amazing guitar. It just might take you a year where it takes a luthier 4 or 5 days. And that's a real split. Like I've known people who spent 7 or 8 months on a ukulele and it was magnificent. They're not going to make any money making ukuleles like that, but that's not the point of that exercise. So I really like these tools. Proxon is definitely one of those WETA things, but every time I leave WETA, I leave with a list of things like Chris, their painter. Where is it? Oh, come on, hold on. I discovered an airbrush last time I was there because we were also doing some painting together. We've got a really, really fun painting video to put up later this year. And when you visit a shop like WETA and you see that they're using a spray gun and an airbrush, I always note what brands they're using because in film production work, you don't want to use something that is super touchy. Like you can spend a lot of money on airbrushes that do incredibly fine work, but require all this adjustment and finesse and cleaning and film. You don't have that kind of time. In film, in production, you need stuff that is bulletproof, easy to clean, easy to use. You can throw a whole bunch of crap at it and it'll all spray out the front. And I came away with a great airbrush, an Iwata, and a terrific spray gun, which I can't remember the brand name of, but a tooltip will be coming about those two. I still haven't even used the airbrush, but the spray gun, I was using it at WETA, and we were throwing acrylic in it of every different thickness, and it was just like pouring, spraying, pouring it. I mean, the thing got filthy, and it never wasn't spraying. And that was like, that's an institutional knowledge that a shop like WETA brings to bear on a tool. Like, no, we're going to use this one because it's bulletproof and it never breaks down. That's the one I want to bring into my shop. Guys, thank you so much. This has been great. Norm Chan, everybody.
Yes. Final bit of housekeeping. Thank you everyone who joined during the live stream.
Yes, thank you for helping us break 1,000. We really, really appreciate it. It's going to allow us to, the bigger projects that I talk about, your membership dollars will actually totally help us be able to execute things like that. And it will allow our crew and us to keep on making the same level of content we've been making through the whole lockdown.
And that content's going to be available for everyone. Yeah. So something that we don't want to get misunderstood is, things like that Samaritan build series. It's going to be a one-day build series that's going to be on the YouTube channel. So everyone can watch, but it's support from new channel members that allows us to keep this level of output and do live streams like this where you'll be doing Q&A and also build. You have a bunch of kind of live builds you want to do. And
I was going to do a live build today, except I lost the Lego set that I was going to build for you all.
Yeah, and last bit of housekeeping, we also have a Discord server. So if you're on Discord, the invite is just discord.gg/tested. And for tested supporters and tested patrons, there's a members exclusive channel on that server that we're going to be, and that's where we're going to take questions for things like live streams and interact with you there. So all the information is on YouTube under the community posts, and we'll see you there.
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. It's how you care about other people. Love you guys. Keep making. Stay obsessed, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.